Alright, we're talking about the iPhone 12 mini again, and as you can see by the title, I am saying goodbye to the phone, so I'm selling it. I'll kind of explain why in this video, but first let's talk about why I was interested in the phone, what attracted me to it, why I bought it in the first place if I'm going to sell it this soon. So yeah, let's get straight into that. So, iPhone 12 mini, it is a very lovable phone. It's quite adored in the tech community. People have really the kind of response from it has actually been quite good. Like for a phone of this size, like most tech community reviewers, they love the big flagship phones. They love the Pro Maxes and the Ultras and all that. But this one, it held its own in today's flagship market. You know, I was quite intrigued by a small iPhone which had the flagship specs, and it has not disappointed at all. I really I love this phone. I love the form factor. I respect it, and it has its uses. And I also I just really like the size and the fact that it performs like a flagship. The cameras are fantastic. Battery life is a bit we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, overall, it is a very nice phone to hold. The display is very good. It performs amazingly. No complaints at all there. Now, what I don't like, going back to the battery life thing, obviously, small phone, small battery, it's just not going to give you 12 Pro Max battery life and all that. It's just not going to do it unless you have like a battery pack, and Apple's talking about making like a MagSafe battery, which would be pretty good for this phone. It would make it pretty easy to attach and detach external batteries, and the whole MagSafe system is pretty dope too. Yeah, really, battery life is my only complaint. Other than if I'm reading like an email and I have to squint at the screen to kind of see what I'm reading, but that's not really an issue with the phone. That's more my eyesight, and you know, you can zoom in, and I also have my Pro Max that I still use as my daily driver. This is more of a secondary phone that I've been kind of using for work and stuff, and just other activities. So yeah, I suppose the way that this kind of fit into my workflow, or the way that I use phones, is that this was the second phone in my pocket. I've kind of put work stuff, so I've got Teams and Outlook and all that. But I also take this phone to the gym a lot because of its form factor. It doesn't bounce around in my pocket when I like squat, or when I bend down to pick up a weight, or when I'm running. It fits a lot better in my pocket, whereas the Pro Max just kind of flops around, and I feel like it's gonna fall out if I don't take it out. And you know, I don't like leaving my phone on the floor because of a very unfortunate incident that happened with an iPhone 10 a little while back. Dropped a metal bar on it and cracked it. No glass protector was going to save that. Anywho, this is just so much better. This fits so well in the pocket. It's got a good enough camera if you did want to take any photos in a pinch, and yeah, the screen is great. Battery life was sufficient for what I needed it for. Obviously, I'm not gonna, expect this phone to last all day, but it definitely holds its own. And to be honest, the experience going between a 12 Pro Max and this is, I had no struggles at all kind of switching between the phones. I just knew, this phone's a little bit smaller, but I can use the swipe function on the keyboard, and I know things are going to be a little bit smaller, but it just makes sense. I really like this phone, and for anyone that is wanting to pick this up, you'd probably fall into the category of this is going to be a second phone, because you already have a big Pro Max Ultra phone that you use and can rely on. This is perfect for a secondary device, or if you've got like a Galaxy and you want to get into iOS but you don't want a massive iPhone, or if you're like me, you've got a Pro Max but you also need a second iPhone for something else like work or whatever your thought activities. This is a perfect phone to pick up and complement any other device. Or you're in the camp where you don't really use your phone a lot, or you're trying to get off of your phone. This decentivizes you from kind of scrolling through socials and wasting your time on the phone, because it's not the most enjoyable experience scrolling through a tiny Twitter timeline. it's definitely doable, and I've caught myself doing it on this phone in the gym and whatnot. The experience just isn't as good as if you were using a bigger phone. Also, yeah, if you don't use your phone a hell of a lot, you just need something basic that, you know, has the iOS ecosystem, and that you can call and text and use the internet on, use the camera occasionally, and you're not heavy on it every day, then this phone would be absolutely perfect for you. Also, if you're around a charger a lot of the time, which most people are, to be honest. If you're working in an office, or if you've got a laptop or an iPad with you, you can plug this in and top the battery off, or just pick up a portable charger. They're not expensive, and they you can get a small one to top off the battery throughout the day, or you can get like a gigantic one and kind of power it like that. There's a lot of ways around the battery issue, and I mean, hopefully it does get improved with the 13 mini, which I don't know if that's going to happen, because these didn't really sell all too well, believe it or not. I mean, most people nowadays, if you're using this as a main phone, this is going to be too small for you, but like I said, as a secondary phone, or if you're just not using your phone a hell of a lot, this is perfect. You get basically everything that you would with an iPhone 12, just in a smaller form factor, and that's what the iPhone 12 mini is all about. Now, enough droning on about that. Why am I selling this? Well, I don't really have a need for it anymore. I bought this phone because I was quite intrigued by it. I thought it was interesting to get a small phone into this package with flagship specs, so on and so forth. I've never really had a small iPhone, or a small phone for that matter. Most of my phones have been 6 inches or larger, no pun intended. Yeah, and overall I really enjoyed using this, but like I said, I just don't really have a use for it anymore. My job is, I'm dropping down hours, and I don't really need a dedicated work phone. I've got another phone that I can use for that. I'm sitting on way too many phones, so I thought I'd get rid of it before the depreciation hits. There are a few willing buyers, and now I suppose I'm gonna have to go ahead and factory reset it. I'll make sure my backup is there. And also, inevitably, the comments will be, why are you getting rid of a phone? Why are you buying a phone for 4 months and getting rid of it? Well, the answer to that is I like tech. I'm a technology lover, and you know, if I see a piece of tech that looks interesting, or that I'm keen and I can afford, I'm gonna go ahead and cop it. I was in the position to buy this. I was like, cool. Let me pick up a 12 mini, and I had a great time with it and using it, and using something different for once, and now it's time to move on. People might hear that and think that's stupid, but you know, you have people that spend $1,000 on shoes and Jordans and Yeezys, and people who spend, I don't know, a bunch of money on makeup or sports, that kind of thing. Like, everybody's got their own vices in life. Mine is tech, because to me, if you're saying, oh, I'm going out and spending $200 on a night out, I'm gonna think that's a bit ridiculous. But then someone can hear me say, oh, I'm gonna spend $2,000 on a phone, or $1,000 on a phone, and hear that that's nonsense. So I mean, everyone's got their own vices in life. This is mine, and I don't know, I just kind of felt like before the comments flood in, I thought I'd justify it. And maybe it's a justification to myself anyways, to kind of prove to myself that it was worth it to buy a 12 mini. I suppose to wrap this up, this is kind of like a more off the cuff video. Let me go ahead and actually factory reset this thing. I've backed it up to iCloud. The only thing that I really need from this phone, because everything's synced over with iCloud, like you know, all my apps and Spotify's on the cloud, and messages are all synced. The only thing that I'm worried about is the COVID Tracer app. For those who are overseas, this is how we kind of contact trace, and you scan like a QR code to kind of record where you've been, and so if you do get exposed to the virus, or if you are, you just need to retrace your steps. That's what we use. I updated to iOS 14.5 beta on my Pro Max, and the Tracer app on that just completely broke and it didn't work. It is fixed now with beta 2, so if you're having that same problem, which is probably rare that anyone else would have the exact same problem, maybe a handful of people would, update to beta 2, and then you'll be sweet. But I was using this as my Tracer app, and kind of a phone to fall back on if my Pro Max ever failed, which it hasn't yet. It's not likely to fail. Yeah, this kind of is a nice little phone to to pull out and scan QR codes with. First world problems, I know. Alright, let's actually go ahead and reset this thing. I'll do another backup just to be extra safe. And yeah, if anyone was wondering how you sell an iPhone, basically all you need to do is make sure your stuff is backed up. Doing a factory reset on the phone is more than enough. If you did want to be sure that no one could ever restore your data, then you can go into iTunes and like do a restore on there or put it into DFU mode or whatever, but you don't really need to do that. iPhones are pretty secure these days, and I mean, you've got to be pretty special for someone to really want to crack an iPhone like that. And yeah, obviously you'll need your Apple ID password to disable Find My iPhone. And there we go. Goodbye, iPhone 12 mini. It has been fantastic knowing you. I'll give you a little bit of a wipe down. Now, I did really look after this phone. Like, there's no marks or no scratches on it, and I'm making a majority of my money back, so that's fine. Paying a couple of $100 to have owned this phone since brand new for a little while, and you know what? I'm okay with that because this was a really cool phone, and I've always wanted to own a green phone. I really wanted the green 11, but I never got that, so I got this instead. So yeah, I've owned a green iPhone. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but this is such a cool phone. I just have no use for it, so there's no point in me keeping it, but if money was no object, I definitely would keep this around. I just wouldn't use it, that's the only thing. Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for the 12 mini. I really hope that Apple continues with it. Makes sense if they don't. I was also thinking maybe I should keep this as a collector's item if Apple never does a 13 mini, but that's probably really silly. Yeah, anyways, it's factory resetting. Let me pull my SIM out as well. Oh, sorry, I bumped the mic. Something that I found really cool when I was cleaning my room the other day was this old HTC SIM ejection tool, and this came with the very first phone that I ever got brand new as I was starting college, the HTC One, and at the time that was probably the coolest flagship out in my opinion, but maybe I'm biased. And it's in the shape of a micro SIM, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of fun, and it's got HTC carved out into it. I'm gonna keep this as like a memoir of that phone. That phone's disappeared, unfortunately. I wish I still had it, but don't. So let me go ahead and pull my SIM out. And now this is ready for the new owner. So, yeah, I don't know what else I'm gonna get next. I don't really want to buy another brand new Samsung phone because last time I did that, I almost lost half on depreciation. Thankfully, I didn't pay full price for it, but yeah, you lose a lot of money on Samsungs. If you're gonna buy a phone brand new, iPhone makes sense because it actually retains its value. But yeah, I'm really interested in an S21 Ultra, but I don't really want to fork out that much money. Anyways, yeah, that's it for the phone content. You know, thankfully I got to make a few videos out of this as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed my ramblings. Yeah, this is kind of just more of a sit down and talk and have a bit of a yarn about the phone and all that. But yeah, I mean, if you're stuck around to the end, I salute you. Thank you so much for watching, really do appreciate it. If you do want to see more iPhone content, might do a long-term review on the 12 Pro Max actually. Here it is. So this is my main phone that I use. I've got my icon skin on it. I didn't think I'd be putting a skin on this, but here we are. It's just really cool. Anywho, yeah, if you want to see a long-term review on this, I'll probably make it anyways, but leave a like and subscribe to stay tuned for that. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you sticking around to the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.